Hey guys, how is everybody doing? Saw X released. It feels like a month ago at this point, but I still got Saw Fever. I planned a Saw ranking series, so I'm still gonna do them no matter what. Even if the movie came out last year, I'm still gonna do these rankings, damn it. I wanted to do these videos last week, but life got ahead of me, of course, and I'm also just pretty tired. But with that all out of the way, so what I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to be ranking all 10 Saw twists ranked from worst to best. So every Saw movie has a twist in the movie. And so what I'm going to be doing is ranking every twist from all Saw movies ranked from worst to best. Now, this is not a definitive list. This is just my personal opinion. These are my thoughts on the twist to where I'm ranking them by how big, how surprising they were to me to where how hugely I was surprised by it and if I actually like it and how iconic it is and how memorable it is basically. So this is kind of going by my own list. But that all out with that all out of the way, let's get to it. Coming in at number 10, the worst Saw twist in my mind, the worst Saw twist. And unfortunately, it's coming from one of my favorite Saw movies, and the worst twist, unfortunately, has gotta be Saw 6. Look, Saw 6 is one of my favorite entries into the franchise. I love that that's to where they kind of were the new writers that came in after Lee Winnell and James Wan left the franchise. They knew their mistakes, so they did the good route and made one of the best Saw sequels and permanently just one of the best Saw movies ever. And one of the weaknesses about that movie were to where no Saw movie is perfect by all means. I don't think any of them are. But unfortunately, the twist it's the weakest of the franchise, and it just doesn't make any sense to where where we've been following this character throughout the entire film to where he he's saving lives because he's an insurance agent. He's put into this trap because he denied coverage for John Kramer when he was battling cancer and he couldn't and he refused to cover him. And so he's in this trap, and it's a pretty good trap. And then you see this mother and her son in this trap, and then right across from them is a different girl, which is apparently like a lawyer or something like that, a journalist, I think, actually. And to where we're following him, and like he's like, or your family will die if you don't finish this, then your family will die and stuff like that. And they keep focusing on the mother and the son, and their kid's like, oh, we're here because of your father, and you're like, oh, they're there because that's their father. That's pretty cool. To where I do like that, it kind of tricks with your mind, but then at the very end, you find out that these two aren't his family. This is not his wife or his child. You find out that these two are actually the wife and son of a man that the main character denied coverage of. One, that's interesting, but two, so you've been telling me I'm supposed to be rooting for this family instead of this guy that I've been watching throughout the entire movie surviving all of these traps. That doesn't make any sense, and it's confusing to where I honestly feel if they did something better with that to where they made it make more sense, they did something new with that, it might have been on the top of this list. Hell, it might have been in my top 5 if they did it better. But to me, it is the weakest Saw twist. It does do something interesting. It does mess with you. It is a pretty interesting twist. But out of all of them, this is the weakest out of all 10 of them, in my opinion. Coming in at number 9, the second worst Saw twist, and that is Saw 4, my least favorite Saw movie actually. To where we are following this cop who apparently keeps kicking down doors and not following orders from the police department, which makes no sense. Like, come on, Jigsaw, you're gonna put him in a trap because he's not following his job? Jesus Christ, what's next? Jaywalking? That's why I'm in my trap, is because I jaywalked on accident? Fuck, man. But to where he keeps kicking down doors and he's supposed to save Matthews, but apparently the timer had to run out, and like because he keeps kicking down doors and he wants to save everybody, but he didn't listen. He kicks down this door, gets Matthews killed, and presumably Hoffman killed, and then you find out that he plays his test. He plays the tape. He's like, "Oh, you failed your test. You were supposed to let the timer run out. So you failed your test." It's like that was impossible. How the fuck was he supposed to know that? He didn't tell him that. And then, oh yeah, we got a second twist. So it's like, oh yeah, remember Hoffman? Oh, he's the Jigsaw apprentice this entire time. He's the mastermind of all of that. That's the reason that is so low, is because that part was predictable. The other part I thought was just stupid as fuck. But the fact that Hoffman is shown that, oh, I'm the Jigsaw apprentice. I have been the mastermind of all this. I bet you didn't know that. No, I did, because like look at you. You look like an asshole. Like, I saw that coming. Like, the second I saw that character and throughout this movie and that he was in his trap, and I'm like, oh, he's the Jigsaw Apprentice. I know it. It's like, oh shit, I'm the Jigsaw Apprentice. Yeah, no shit. Like, I didn't see that coming. Look, I understand what they were trying to do there. They could have did something interesting about like, oh, you shouldn't be kicking down doors, but that subplot is just stupid. And then you add in the fact that oh, Hoffman is the Jigsaw Apprentice. That's stupid. And at number 8 is Saw, the final chapter, Saw 3D, or as I like to just say, Saw 7. Look, Saw 7, this is a bad film. This is a horribly made film. And then they got probably the most predictable trap besides from Saw 4 is probably the not trap, did I say trap? Most predictable twist. And that is like, oh, Dr. Gordon that we saw in like one scene of this entire movie is the Jigsaw Apprentice. He was the first Jigsaw Apprentice. Yeah, the first scene that you show him to where he's just walking in, just clapping his little hands and doing the little maniacal voice. Oh, what a wonderful meeting. Something like that. I can't remember exactly what he said. And it's like, oh, I was the first Jigsaw Apprentice. And then he puts Hoffman into the ship room that we've seen from the first movie, and then presumably leaving Hoffman to starve to death in this room. But I don't think that's true because apparently Saw 12 is going to try to end the franchise again. Bullshit. And yeah, apparently Gordon was the first Jigsaw Apprentice, and when he attacks Hoffman and takes off the pigmask, it's like I was the Jigsaw Apprentice this entire time. First off, you're gonna add that in like at the very end. I think it would have worked better if they didn't add that scene to where we see him in that little room where he's just like in the whole therapy room, just doing the nice little clap and little creepy voice. If they didn't add that scene, I honestly would have this up higher because that would have been unpredictable. I wouldn't have predicted that. But no, we're gonna show him in a scene, and when the second that they show that scene, it's like, oh yeah, he's gonna come back in the twist later on. Oh shit, he did. And number 7 is Saw 5, one of my least favorite Saw films. And to where the twist is where you got Agent Strom and the Mark Hoffman subplot going on, that's basically this entire movie. I honestly feel this movie can just worked as a crime drama in a way, but oh shit, yeah, we gotta make Saw 5 to make more money. Let's just add a few traps here and there. Oh, there you go. To where the twist in this movie is where Agent Strom finally figures out that Hoffman actually is the Jigsaw Apprentice instead of just questioning, is he the Jigsaw Apprentice? I'm gonna scratch my head and try to figure out through this 90-minute movie. And then, oh yeah, I figured it out. And the twist is he finds this tape player, he plays it, and basically the tape says, if you basically, Hoffman is basically trying to get Agent Strom. I was like, okay, I know I am the Jigsaw Apprentice, I know I'm a weird fucking stupid dude, but right now, you need to listen to me. Right now, you need to listen to me and get into this box full of glass. It's going to hurt, but it's going to save your life. Listen to me. But he does not listen to the full tape because he's a goddamn idiot. Hoffman walks right in as he's playing this tape, which is very convenient timing, which I call bullshit. I feel that Hoffman wanted Agent Strom to die to get him off his ass. So apparently, that's what I think happened. And then Agent Straub jumps Hoffman, throws him into this box because Agent Straub doesn't listen to the entire thing, and then he starts to go down, and then the walls start to cave in and squish Agent Straub to death. The only reason that this twist is low is because Agent Strom is a fucking idiot and should have just listened to the tape. That's it. And at number 6 is another one of my favorite Saw movies, and unfortunately, the twist is not very good. And that is Spiral from the Book of Saw. Spiral from the Book of Saw is one of my favorite Saw entries. It's one of my favorite Saw movies. I will defend that on a hill forever. I love Spiral from the Book of Saw. It's one of the best entries in the franchise. I really like the 7 feeling, and I honestly would love to see a sequel to that film. And the twist is to where it's basically 7 to where they're trying to figure it out. Who's the Jigsaw Apprentice? He's targeting cops. They're trying to figure out who's doing all this, and they're slowly starting to come up where it is, and they try to figure it out and all that. But then the twist is plainly obvious: is that William, the partner of Chris Rock's character Zeke, he's the Jigsaw Apprentice, and he's the Jigsaw copycat. I shouldn't be saying apprentice, but copycat. And the twist is that he's just standing right there in a room, just standing there. And that's to reveal who it is. Oh yeah, and there's also a second twist to where apparently Sam Jackson was a dirty cop and all that boring bullshit, and that I guess was a twist, but I don't know. But I like to think that the twist was the copycat reveal. It's plainly obvious, and it's also done poorly to where it just felt like they just gave up to where they were so exciting leading up to that, and then it's just like, oh yeah, we gotta reveal them. Oh shit, what time is it? Oh shit, it's 4 a.m. in the morning. Oh shit, they just wrote that down to where Zeke just walks into a fucking room and just sees William just standing there. Look, I talked about it numerous times, 3 times now, actually, 4 times actually now. Um, could you have done better? And at number 5 is basically Spire from the Book of Saw, to where we find out who the Jigsaw Apprentice is. But to me, this one it was just a tiny bit better on the reveal, and that is the Jigsaw twist, to where we find out that this orderly, I forget the guy's name, he is the Jigsaw Apprentice, and apparently the first ever apprentice. He was here before Amanda, Gordon, Hoffman, and yeah, I forget his name, but yeah, he was the first ever Jigsaw Apprentice, and the way they do it is that he fakes his death in front of this room with all these traps and all that, with the detective in front of him who's apparently a dirty cop and all that, who uses criminals to get other criminals and all that. And then he gets to the recording, and is like, "Oh, I made you admit this and all that," and it's like, "Oh, I am the Jigsaw Apprentice. I am Jigsaw. I continued his work. I was the first ever one." And to me, that just sucks, to where it's just the same old shit at this point, to where it got repetitive. It's like, oh, we need to have a twist in a Saw movie at this point, right? Right? Yeah, we do. And yeah, it's basically everything I just said about Spiral can be said here, except for the Zeke walking in on William thing. I honestly feel that this movie just does it a little bit better, and it's more interesting on why he's going after some of these people, to where they do like a cool twist too, to where all the stuff that was happening in this movie actually took place like a decade ago, and everything else outside the trap is present day. I thought that was a pretty cool twist there. And then the second twist is like, oh, this is the guy who was the Jigsaw Apprentice, and it's like, yeah, I totally didn't see that coming, totally. And at number 4 is the new kid on the block, Saw X, the twist in Saw X. This one I'm a little bit more mixed on. This one I'm really mixed on, to where apparently Celia, who's the chick's name, and I forget her boyfriend's name. Spoilers, by the way. If you have not seen Saw X, spoilers. Skip to this time code right here. Hopefully I'll have a time code right here. If I don't, I'm sorry. But yeah, also, if you're gonna be that asshole in the comments and saying, like, why'd you spoil this movie for me? Why are you spoiling this movie? It's called Saw Twist, asshole. If you don't want to be spoiled by a Saw Twist, why'd you even click on the video, you dick? So how about you stop yelling at me, go watch the Saw movies for yourself, or you can go fuck yourself. That's what I have to say to you. To where Saw X has Cecilia, to where she tricks John, she tricks Amanda, and gets this little Mexican kid that we met earlier in the movie, and then there's like this deadly game going on to where they're being waterboarded with blood, and that was supposed to be Celia's trap, but then the boyfriend, who we find out is Cecilia's boyfriend, makes John get in this trap with this little Spanish kid, the Mexican kid, whatever the fuck, I forget his name. And then they're being waterboarded with blood, to where if you pull this handle, it's gonna go this way, and the other guy's gonna get waterboarded, while this guy is gonna be flying up in the air. And if you keep pulling, it's gonna keep doing that. And the twist is that Cecilia, she finds the bag of money that she stole, and then the Hello Zap song theme starts playing, and then it's just like, oh, now you Cecilia, Cecilia and the boyfriend have to fight for both of their lives, and to show that one is more greedy than the other, and the boyfriend basically see how Cecilia is, and like how greedy she is, and then there's only one hole, and this whole room is being filled with gas that is slowly going to kill them. And only one of them will survive. And Cecilia and the boyfriend, they're fighting it out. They're putting their head through another. Then Cecilia ends up living, which I basically hated. I was like, well, this bitch was the most hated character in the entire movie. You let her live. That doesn't feel right. But where I do like the twist is though where John Kramer had a backup plan. He had a backup plan to where to save his ass, basically, to where he kind of figured that something bad would go down. To where if the trap idea didn't go well, he had another idea hidden. To where I like that. That's clever there. But I just don't like that Cecilia lives, who is a very despicable character. 3, baby, coming in at number 3. is Saw 3, one of my favorite entries of the franchise, and apparently a very divisive sequel, and I did not know that until I watched a lot of other movie reviewers' rankings on the Saw franchise. Nonetheless, Saw 3 has a really cool twist to where we find out that the game that we have been watching throughout the entire movie with the nurse and John and Amanda and apparently Jeff too was apparently Amanda's game to where she's been putting people in unwinnable traps. She's been putting people in situations to where they cannot win or anything like that. And then Jigsaw decided to test her. And she failed because she shot Jeff's wife, and who we then find out apparently is also Jeff's wife, which I thought was also a pretty cool twist. And to where we also get a second twist, which I thought was okay, to where Jigsaw just gives Jeff his final test, and he's just like, "You have to forgive me, and I will basically tell you where your child is." I don't think he said that. He was like, "Will you forgive me?" But then what I hate is that Jeff does not learn his lesson at the end of the game, and he cuts John's throat, and he says, "I forgive you." So he killed John because he put his wife to the situation and did not forgive him. So therefore, Jeff did not learn his fucking lesson throughout this entire movie. But anyways, he did not learn his lesson. But then his wife ends up perishing, and I did like the double twist here. It was like, oh, this is actually Amanda's game. Jeff has to forgive John to find out where his daughter is, and then his daughter is lost to time for like one movie. Top two. Now I will say this: my top two they shifted back and forth to where I could not think of a decision for a bit. To where I was like, oh, this one's better than this one. Oh, this one surprised me more. But I finally landed on an answer. Coming at number two is Saw 2. The twist in Saw 2. We get two twists to where Detective Matthews, who's the protagonist of this film, or antagonist. I think he's a protagonist, I'm pretty sure. Where he's sitting at this table talking to John. If he sat there, just kept talking to John, kept talking to Jigsaw, just listening to what Jigsaw had to say for a half hour, something like that, he would have had his son, because after he leaves, makes Jigsaw tell him where this warehouse is where his son was playing this game. And then after that half hour runs out, he finds out that his son was legit like just next to him. And if he sat down and just listened to Jigsaw throughout the entire movie, he would have saved his son. He would have had his son. But he didn't listen because he just didn't listen to John. And the second twist, which caught me by a huge surprise when I first watched this movie, is that Amanda, who was in the reverse bear trap in the first Saw movie, is the accomplice of Jigsaw and is apparently going to take over Jigsaw's legacy after he dies, but we all know how that went. And she is going to be the next Jigsaw. That is an awesome twist where we find out that Amanda is going to be the next Jigsaw, but we know how that lasted. I love both twists where if Detective Matthews just sat down and listened to Jigsaw, he would have had a son, and that they also pull the rug out of under you and also show you that Amanda is the Jigsaw apprentice, which was coming in at number one is the Saw 1 twist, the first ever Saw twist. This one absolutely blew my mind the first time I ever watched this movie, to where we find out that Zep, who we've been watching for a bit, the Zep guy that we've been watching throughout this entire movie, apparently might have been Jigsaw, but when you look at him, it's like, this guy cannot be Jigsaw. What are you talking about? Are you nuts? Are you high? And then we find out that he's actually been playing this game with Jigsaw. He's been a competitor of Jigsaw, and then he has a poison coursing through his system, which doesn't make any sense. Why is he forced to play this game? And it's like, well, he's fucked it either ways. He's either gonna be a murderer or he's gonna die due to poison. What the fuck, man? That's an unwinnable game. Anyways, and then Adam finds this tape in his pocket, plays it, and he's like, okay, you need to play this game. Either save your own life by killing a mother and her child, or letting you die and be poisoned to death. And that's not it. Then we find out that this dead body that we've been seeing in this bathroom throughout the entire movie, was actually Jigsaw. He's just been lying on the ground, just like in a sleep, and like a very deep sleep for like hours. I don't know how long. Then he just gets up, rises up, and it looks like he just woke up from like a really long 8 hour sleep, and kind of looks like me when I wake up in the mornings. And then it shows that he's the Jigsaw apprentice, and then you get that awesome game over, and he closes the door on Adam. That is the perfect way to end a movie. That is it, guys. That is my ranking of all 10 Saw twists ranked from worst to best. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave me your ranking of all Saw twists down in the comments below. And if you like this video, like it. If you love to subscribe, hit the bell notification so you will get notified for my latest videos. And of course, until my next video, I'll see you all next time.